This is the number one mistake traders are making right now. Hey everybody, in today's video we're going to go through 5 stocks for you to watch tomorrow, what to be looking for going into the Fed meeting tomorrow, and I really just want to hammer something home right now. This is the number one mistake I see people making, not only in the trading room, but I see it happening all over, especially newer traders. So you see where your levels are? Understanding where your levels are is what's going to keep you out of trouble. You are not in a breakaway market. If you're not in a breakaway market, breakouts are not going to work as well. You're going to have to look for new bases. We're going to get to that in a moment. But when you see things like this and you see these levels, you should not be considering getting in them here. You should be considering getting out of them here. So let me give you an example here. This is our trade mapped out. Now, I'm leaving out the stop price for now, but I want to point this out. See this 304 BPA? That's where we got in the trade. So what were we looking for? Were we looking for this to break through this? No. What we were looking for in the trading room and in the newsletter, we were waiting for it to flip here. As soon as it flipped here and hit a higher high, we knew this was resistance. We know if the market gets going that we can get up to here, maybe this 350 level, right? But we know that we have an issue in here. And how do we know we have an issue? Because we know how to draw support and resistance lines. Now, if you just look at this level going straight across, you can see this level very, very clearly. Where we broke out here, stopped here, this was resistance. Support flips to what? Resistance, right? Support comes back down, resistance. Bonk, bonk, bonk. When you know that and you're in a market like this, you have to sell into this. So today what we did was when we started breaking out like that, we scaled out right in here. So we scaled out yesterday out of some on this when we popped over and then revert back down. So we locked in some a little bit more thinking, okay, maybe we're not going to get there. Maybe this is going to be the new level, right? And then we had this reversal pattern. So then we scale out and we protect our profit and stagger a stop, right? And the stops that you need to be focused on here is you need to stagger your stops. In other words, 50%, 50%, stagger them, okay? Because what they're doing is they're stop hunting. I'm going to show you the indexes at the end here and what they did to people today and how we profited from it. When you got up to this level, that was it. Okay, now forget where the indexes are. They're rolling. We're going to go over how you could have identified this earlier. But as soon as you broke here, that was it. Okay, time to get out of another percentage. So now you have a percentage on here. And what you're doing is very simple. Now you're going to go figure out what it's going to do. But are these the names that you should be looking at? Absolutely, these are the names you should be looking at. They're not taking out lows. They're bouncing around even when the market takes out lows. What do you do with this now? Now we have a free position on the other 50%. It doesn't matter what the Fed does. The mistake that most newer traders are making are thinking that they have to be right. They don't. They have to manage money and you need to sell into strength. Please listen to it a couple times. I see so many people buying breakouts. And don't get me wrong. There are times where I'm doing it and I think it makes perfect sense. I bought this today on this breakout. I had 2x volume on the breakout. Breakout did not work. What I will recommend to everybody is honor your stops. The minute that this failed, that was it. Cost me $1 from the buy price and then actually $1.20 loss on that. Losing $1.20 when you're making gains on names like this and you're pulling out 8 points, 6 points is nothing. So the idea that you can't make money in this market is just ludicrous. You can. You just have to build money management principles around what is going on right now. That's what we've been doing, and it has been working, and I can see it working. I want to get that out because I don't want people out here that when I'm getting these texts on Twitter, and you can always follow me on Twitter as well, and I'm getting them in YouTube and in the emails. You need to focus on where your levels are. Now, let's talk about what names you should be looking at. You should be looking at names that are breaking out. I find it very interesting that we're going into the Fed meeting tomorrow. I'm going to show you 2 or 3 of the same names again. So Apple, everybody didn't want to own an iPhone. No one ever thought anyone was going to buy an iPhone again. Now you're back to 157, okay? Go watch yesterday's video. I said we can get to 157.10 today. We got to 156.90, all right? Now, this is not something that I was in heavily. I actually did this trade towards the end of the day on a pullback. And these are the kinds of trades that are working. Pullback, hammer time. Buy the hammer, trades up into what? Resistance. Where do we sell? As soon as it got through resistance, and then just, hey, we're not hanging on here. That's enough. Take what you can get, make the dollar, and move on with your life. Don't sit there and I wonder what the Fed's going to do. I wonder what color, tie Jerome's going to have tomorrow. Doesn't matter. I'm watching too many people overthink this. You're up, you scale out into the up, you move your stop to break even, you get stopped, you get out of the way. This name should be on your radar. Apple should be on your radar. Tesla should be on your radar. Okay? They are names that should be on your radar. You're watching a lot of names try to break out and fail, and we're going to cover the indexes. I think you should be watching this rumble tomorrow. So we gap up, then they lock everybody out, right? So in other words, you go home, everyone's feeling good about themselves, right? And then they come out and they smash your hopes and dreams with this gap down, and then they test you back here, and what do? They stop punch you. So all they did was trigger everybody out here, take their stock from them, right? And now you're going to start seeing this build. All I see, if you come straight across here, are levels where you are finding some kind of support. You are building a base here. See if this holds in here, and maybe you can get another day and then bounce off that day. So maybe it's not tomorrow, maybe it's Thursday. Put this on your radar. You have more housing data tomorrow that's coming out. This was one that they traded in the room today, and they did very well with it. I didn't go near it, but they did excellent with it. Congratulations. And you just broke straight out, and you're pushing. Very little to see here. More home builder data tomorrow. To me, the sector is completely beaten up. Doesn't matter what I think. It matters what price is doing, and price is going higher. So that's what matters. Some other news came out for wheat. I'm going to watch this one tomorrow. I thought this was pretty interesting. You're starting to break out here. One of the things I've been trying to point out to people is, as everyone's waiting for Armageddon, this pretty much was Armageddon as far as you coming down, right? Now, you're building a base, and now you're breaking out of that base. So you're going to want to watch wheat tomorrow, and you're going to want to watch commodity prices. You could get some geopolitical events tomorrow that could move this as well. But just watch this tomorrow, and if by definition, if you're going to watch wheat, start taking a look at some of these other names, such as the fertilizer names tomorrow. I know they're not the greatest names in the world, but when you have these little patterns here, and then you can see that you're probably above your 5-day moving average, which I think you are just by looking at it, they're the kinds of names you want to be looking at, right? So now guess what you're doing? You're flipping your 5-day. These are the trades that are working. They're the ones that you want to focus on. So I would be looking at that. I'd be looking at wheat. Focus on the leaders. Focus on the names where people are substantially short large cap tech, because if it's 75 basis points tomorrow and he alludes to the fact of, now we're going to see what happens, which might be something that a Fed chair might do as we're going into midterms. Okay. I don't know that he's going to be super negative. We're all speculating on what he's going to say, what color tie he's going to wear, what type of suit, right? We have no idea. Trade what's in front of you. Develop a system around that, and you'll do substantially better. You need to look at these names that are getting above the 5-day moving average. I'm really trying to hammer this point home that you need to scale out when they're moving in your favor. Now, I want to go through the indexes and just show you the games that they're playing with people. And these are games that we go over at nauseum when we're in the trading community. So today we were going through this, and essentially this is just total textbook. So here you are, you undercut, and then this is where everybody's shorting, because now you're certainly going to break down, right? Because you have this base, so now you're going to break down. What do? They take everybody's stock. Okay, they took everybody's stock from them. And then everybody bought puts, and then what do? They ran it up. So I'll tell you exactly what we did. We bought calls. And we bought calls here, and then we traded those calls up into this. What does this do for us? It allowed us to stay in the trade. We made a little money. When everybody else is shorting and selling, start looking at the other side. All they're doing is triggering us over and over again and just stopping people out. I cannot hammer this home enough. Here's your opening price. You get over that. Everyone thinks everything's great, right? Because here's your breakout bar. Now they trigger you here. So now everybody gets excited because we're going to gap fill right up to 390. Guess what they do? They take you down, take out the lows, get those people next, lock them in, take you back up. So you think you're going to really break out again. Okay. You need to contra trade. You need to understand that you are in range bound trading until otherwise established. I know people look at this and go, oh, we're breaking. And we've been in the same range for the past 3 days. Okay, you've been in the same range for 3 days. I really don't view it as breaking. I'm not saying we can't break down. I'm not saying that the market can't go lower. All I'm saying is this is where you're at, and let's focus on what is in front of us and get through tomorrow. 2 o'clock tomorrow, the Fed will come out with their statement on what they're doing with the hike, 75 or 100. More important is what is done at 2:30 when he speaks. Keep that in mind. I know I threw a lot at you for a top 5 video, but I just see that one mistake, and I really wanted to hammer home what we're doing differently that is actually benefiting people, and that you may be able to benefit by doing something similar. So keep that in mind. There's always room for improvement. If you need anything, reach out. As always, trade to win.